Hi there, my name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we have been using items from the Dollar Tree, and the last couple of months, garage, kids' room, junk drawer. If you can get down to the Dollar Tree, great. But we've been using items, a lot of items we can find around the place. And so for this one, I am using a costume of some sort. It can be a pirate. It can be anything that you want to dress up as so you can make up a story or talk about how you're going to make up a story. And the idea is we're playing with the idea of making up and the play on the words of that. Because when I look at this, we're in Corinthians. This is for the narrative lectionary. We're looking at the 4th chapter in 2 Corinthians, and really the feeling is Paul is trying to make up. Paul is trying to reconcile. Paul is trying, there's friction has been going on, and it just feels like stuff is going on. And so I had this idea of playing with the phrase making up. And because there is a time when there's friction or we fight with one another, we pretend that nothing happened, and we're kind of making up a story. And so this idea that we are called as people of God, if we're going to look at, okay, so how do we take this text into our everyday lives? We are called as people of God to forgive one another and be forgiven and have these hard conversations. And it doesn't mean that we pretend that it didn't happen, that we push it underneath the rug, that we deal with it. And we say, all right, so how do we reconcile? How do we make up? And we know that we want to pretend that nothing happened. That's human nature to go, oh, I'm going to pretend. I'm going to make believe that nothing ever happened. And that's the idea of dressing up. I'm going to tell you a story. And I don't know what that accent or what that was about, but still the idea that we are making up and we're not, and so we're called to not pretend that nothing happened. We're called to forgive one another, and we're called to confess when we've messed up. When there's friction going on, that we are called as people of God to say, okay, I have messed up. Now, we've all seen, and this isn't necessarily like a direction I'd go with the children's sermon, but we know when we've experienced an apology that really isn't an apology, and it has the feeling of being made up, that it's not real, it's fiction, and that we are called to get real with one another, to look at each other and figure out how we can make up, how we can be okay with one another. So, and that's the feeling. The whole letter of 2 Corinthians is this strange conversation. A lot of that going on about, hey, there's something happened and we rubbed each other the wrong way, or I called you on this and you didn't like that, and we have this. Well, basically, it's about being in real relationship with one another. Because if we say that we never have problems, if we never have fights, we know that's just made up. That's not true. But we are called then to have conversations with one another. All right, that's the springboard I've got. I hope you can use it. I hope it's helpful for you in your children's sermon. As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're staying safe. Know that I'm praying for you and lifting up your congregation as I love the Romans text. This is this week in the Revised Common Lectionary. The second reading is the Romans text, and it's the Spirit intercedes for us with sighs too deep for words to express. So when I pray for you, I'm trusting that Spirit. I'm trusting the Spirit to interweave and take the intercessions up to God, and that God hears them. So blessings be on you and peace, and we will see you next week.